So for today's class, we are looking at provisioning. Let's get an instance together. We'll launch an instance. We can call it a provisioning instance. Let's just call it provisioning instance. Provisioning. Where's this? I don't even know. Okay, I think I can understand this. This one should have. Then now, before now we've been ending around this place. Am I using the right security group? Please, a second. Let me check the security group. Those ones that have those settings I need. Security. Okay, I think this is one I'm trying to use. Let me see. Oh, this is part 80, not just 80. Let's go back. I think this one should have the one I want. Yeah, this one has the one I want. So that is Launch Wizard 4. So I'll remove this. I'll switch to Launch Wizard 4. Now, no, before now, we've been ending around this place.
Yeah.
But we want to run some commands. Provisioning is you running some commands immediately you start your ec2 instance. Immediately you start running it. So that's what we want to do now. We'll come here under this advanced details. To expand it, you go to user data. This place. So you're going to run through your commands here. So first, you can most times usually before we start running anything, most times usually first updates. But we are using bash. We want to bash script. So your key bank hash static then exclamation mark then you update. Most times usually first updates before we start on instance. Now remember, when you are using provisioning or user data like this, if it needs you to interact with it, it's going to fail.
Okay.
If at any point, for instance, sudo yum update will ask you, are you sure you want to do this? Once it asks this question, it will fail. Because it starts it, immediately the ec2 instance starts running and it shouldn't require any user interaction. So if I thought it requires anyone, it's not going to be successful. So we need to be careful. We must not forget to put -y where necessary, so that it's not going to fail. So next is then we want to install httpd and wget.
What is the purpose of that update?
To first update this ec2 instance to ensure that most times when you are installing new stuffs, you want to first update it to the most recent states, to the most recent version. Even when we need, as time goes on, we still install some other stuff like Jenkins and before we start running anything. Oftentimes, that's usually the first thing because the version you downloaded online may not be the updated one. It may not be the updated one. So that's why most times you first want to run these sudo yum updates. Then after you've updated it, then you can now start running so that you ensure that yours is the updated one. Do you get it, sir?
Yeah.
So next you want to install httpd and wget. Then next is want to use the wget to get something. So let's get it. We go to twoplay.com. So while that is loading, we can continue with this system ctl start httpd. Oh, let's put sudo system ctl enable so this is started this way. Enable it. Let's now come here and get one of the templates. Let's pick maybe the first one. So it's loading. Oh, when I click, you should still be able to get it. Let's first one. Download. So here is the one we need. So we're going to copy this URL. We paste. So we come here and we say get wget. Paste. Oh, we need to also download unzip. So we can say unzip. We unzip this. So after we've unzipped it, we can move the content now. We can now say mv move everything inside this. Asterisk to var/www/html. Let's put sudo at the front. Sudo. So to remove all of this here. Right. Well, I don't think wget will need sudo. I don't think. But anyway, to be on the safer side, I don't think these two we need sudo. Sudo privileges. So what else? We've start. We've unzipped. We've moved it. Yeah, I think this should be running now. So we're going to execute these commands and we launch the instance. After you launch the instance, it will execute all of this command. I'll copy this. The reason I want to copy this is because it may fail. Because something like I said, if one of them fails, it will undo all of them. And if it needs to interact with it at any point in time, it will undo all of them. So in case it fails, so that I won't have to retype all of this. So I'll click on launch instance. Okay. So let's go to the URL and see if it's successful. So if it's running, here is the IP address. So let's see colon 80. Now, based on what it did, you see, it works, right? HTTPD, when you see this, it works. That means HTTPD was able to start, but somehow it was not able to copy the content of the unzipped file to the location. The HTTPD is working, but it was not able to move the content to the location. So we need to debug why that part is not working. That's why I said we should copy that part and run it together, in case it's, because it may fail. It may fail. So what you're going to do is that we will work with this present instance, this current one. Then we'll now create another one. We'll check what is wrong. We'll create another one. Then we'll use this to solve the next one. So what I'm going to do is that I will connect with this locally on my device so that I can check what is wrong. So we go to CMD. CD downloads. So let's connect locally. Yeah. So let's check what is going on. ls, we know we said we should take it to this val/www/html. I'm coming.
But is it not when you use admin to log in before you can check ls? Or
no, we can check it even here. We can check it even here. So it's been able to put it inside. Been able to put it. This is there an index.html here? Yes. This is it. It's able to put it inside. So why is it not working? Let's check the. Why is this not working? Why is it not working? This should work then. This should work. If it's able to put it inside, I thought it was not able to put it. Oh, it's working. It's working. I just needed to refresh it. It's working. Do you get it? Alyssa?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, so I thought it wasn't working. I only needed to wait. We only needed to wait a bit. It wasn't done yet. It wasn't done. So it's okay. Any questions, sir?
No.
Okay. So that is how you make use of the user data for provisioning here. So let's talk about load balancer before we go. Any question on this part?
No question.
Alright. So maybe tonight we start provisioning and we start load balancing. Or we can just explain it tonight. Time has gone.
Then go back to where you get the IP.
Okay. I'm coming. Let me just come here. So here is where I got the IP address from. Click on the ID. It's loading. Click on the ID. Then here is the IP. You can click on this or this. But when you click on this, the problem is that it will put HTTP at the front, and sometimes that may not make it work. So you may have to first remove this HTTPS whatever. So once I
But
remove this,
I could see different IP as well. So
you said
I could see different IP.
I did. That's a public IP.
Okay.
This is the IP address for this particular instance, not for my system now.
Okay.
For this
That's
particular.
fine.
Yeah. But if you don't want, you can reserve IPs. Maybe
Okay.
you don't want it to change. You can reserve the IP address. So why is this failing? Okay, colon 8C. Remove this. Yeah, you can see when I didn't remove the HTTPS, it wasn't working.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's not, it may not work. So remove the HTTPS and start running your project. So tonight I'll just explain what load balancing is about. Then in the next class we'll look at it.
Okay.
And it also leads us to something we call auto-scaling group. Auto-scaling group. You know when you are something used to happen then. I don't know if it still happens. Whenever Jump they're about to release results, their website used to crash on that day.
Yeah.
And that's usually because the amount of traffic is usually so much that it overwhelms their websites and it crashes. Load balancer and auto-scaling group can help solve that problem. So this is how load balancer works. From its name, it helps to balance loads. What happens is that the reason why systems usually crash is because the load on that server is much more than what the server can handle at that moment.
Okay.
So most of them usually use one server. But instead of that, you can have multiple servers, maybe 3 servers running. So when you make a request to the page, right, or to that server, it can send it to any of the 3 servers. Instead of all of it concentrating on a single server, it sends your request to any of these 3 servers. Do you get it, sir?
Yeah.
So with that, no server will be overwhelmed by the volume of requests on it. So for instance, instead of 1,000,000 requests going to a single server, each of them can have about maybe 400,000 and the remaining to about 300,000. So no single server will be like, it will help it to cope with player. That is what load balancer does. When you make a request, the load balancer can send it to any of the servers, any of the available servers. It will look for the idle one and it will send it instead of everything concentrated on a single server. That is what load balancer does.
Okay.
Now to auto scaling group. The problem is this. Let's use Jump as an example. If I run Jump, let's say I'm a software developer working with Jump. For most part of the year, our server will not have problem. Our server will only have problem within a few periods, maybe during exam or during checking of results. But for most other times, when people are not registered, when nothing is happening, or when the registration is not much, maybe at the beginning, at the early point of registration, when we just release the form, we won't have player on our server. Now, if I now set up 10 servers on our platform, imagine I set up 10 servers because of player we used to receive. The problem is that we will keep paying for those 10 servers even when a single one of them is not overwhelmed. Do you get it, sir?
No.
I come again. Now, imagine let me put this way. Imagine in my website, we organize BB Niger.
Yeah.
And I think we've been in Nigeria for 3 months. We also do auditioning on the page and all of that. But except during those 3 months when we are running BB Nigeria, except those 3 months, for the remaining 9 months in a year, the traffic on our website will be low. Do you get it, sir?
Yeah.
But for those 3 months, maybe the last month, the final month, maybe the traffic used to be so high. But even in the first 2 months, the traffic they are moderate, they are not too high. But in the final month, the traffic used to be so high.
Yeah.
Now, in order to cope with the last traffic, I set up 10 servers and I use load balancer. That is, when a request comes in, you can send it to any of these 10 servers. I set that so as to cope with the prayer of the last month.
Okay.
But then, what happens in the remaining 11 months? Or better still, what happens in those 9 idle months? We will keep paying for 10 servers. Or imagine an instance whereby my 10 servers, with my expectations, my 10 servers is to work optimally for 1,000,000 users. My 10 servers, just assume they are optimal based on my calculation. My 10 servers is to work, they are to work optimally for 1,000,000 users. But let's now assume something else suddenly happened, that BB Nigeria, the BB Nigeria we are running, something suddenly happened that we now got 100 million users, much more than our expectations. How do we cope with it? It will still overwhelm our 10 servers because we did not prepare for more than 1,000,000 users. Do you get this? That's one. Then the second instance is what also happens when our servers, or when these services they are underutilized. We keep paying for all of them. So there are two instances: when the traffic is much more than our preparation, and also when the traffic is less than our preparation. How do you now undo that? That is where auto scaling group comes in. From its name, auto scaling, automatically scaling. So the way it's going to work is that when the traffic is low, it will automatically delete some of those servers. And when the traffic gets so much, the system itself will automatically create new servers in order to cope with the new traffic. Do you get it, sir?
Yeah.
So with that now, we won't get overwhelmed, and at the same time, we won't have to start paying for services that we are not using when the traffic is very low. So in case of low traffic, we won't pay unnecessarily. In case of high traffic, we won't get overwhelmed. That is the work of auto-scaling group that we're going to check in the next class. Do you have any question as regards that?
No.
Okay. Let's stop there. Then next I will look at auto-scaling group and some other stuff. Thank you so much, sir.
All right, thank you.
Yes. Good night, sir.